California High-Speed Rail. California is delivering the United States' first true high-speed rail line. At the San Joaquin River Viaduct, massive pre-stressed girders are lifted into place by crawler cranes, forming the bridge deck that will carry bullet trains at 220 miles per hour. A historic turning point. 119 miles of brand-new trackway are under construction across the Central Valley, transforming farmland into the backbone of a modern passenger rail system. Massive viaducts like the Cedar and San Joaquin River crossings rise above the landscape, while deep underpasses and overpasses eliminate dangerous level crossings. This is the largest rail investment since the golden age of American railroads. Hampton Roads Bridge, tunnel expansion. Beneath Virginia's harbor, 2 new tunnel bores are being cut by one of the largest tunnel boring machines on the continent. The Hampton Roads Bridge tunnel expansion is the largest highway project in Virginia history. Above the water, marine trestles stretch out into the James River as island portals take shape. On land, I-64 is being widened to handle the massive new capacity this project will unleash. When the second bore is complete, traffic will double, easing congestion for generations. The expansion is a colossal logistics challenge, but it moves forward with military precision, tunneling beneath one of the busiest naval waterways in the world while keeping traffic flowing above. Brightline West. The desert between Las Vegas and Los Angeles is alive with construction. Brightline West is building a 218-mile high-speed rail line along the Interstate 15 corridor, transforming the median into a high-tech transportation artery. Foundation works, bridge piers, and utility relocations are happening now, setting the stage for vertical construction. Las Vegas station prep is visible, and California sites are being cleared to follow. Once complete, trains will connect 2 powerhouse regions in about 2 hours, revolutionizing intercity travel. BART Silicon Valley Extension. In San Jose, every truck of concrete, every cage of rebar laid, is preparing for the arrival of a TBM the size of a 10-story building. Excavators and slurry wall cutters are slicing down through clay and sand, creating reinforced walls for the launch portal. Industrial pumps run non-stop, dewatering the excavation and keeping it dry enough to pour massive foundation slabs. At future stations like 28th Street, crews are laying soldier pipes and lagging boards to hold open excavation pits where concourse levels will be built. Heavy trucks rumble in the rebar mats, while welding crews fabricate the cages on site. This tunnel will be 45 feet in diameter, big enough to contain 2 tracks and stations within 1 bore. The Gateway Program. New twin tunnels are being dug beneath the Hudson River, while the Portal North Bridge rises in New Jersey, replacing a 114-year-old bottleneck. Construction crews swarm the Manhattan worksite, building deep shafts and massive concrete approaches. Across the river, the Palisades are prepared for tunnel boring machines that will launch in 2026. Together, these projects will double rail capacity into Manhattan, modernize the busiest corridor in the country, and redefine intercity rail. It's the ground for America's largest rail capacity expansion since World War II. Penn Station access. In New York, 4 new stations are under construction along the Hellgate line, each one promising to bring faster, direct connections into Penn Station for communities that have waited generations. Concrete framework is rising around the future station houses, and massive precast segments are delivered and craned into place. At Hunts Point, crews are excavating underpasses while retaining walls are poured, each one clad in steel rebar before concrete's pumped in. Simultaneously, Amtrak's upgrading the Hellgate line's bridges and signal systems, with work trains laying out new track panels during nightly shutdowns. Co-op City, Parkchester, Morris Park, and Hunts Point will soon be linked not just to Manhattan, but to the entire Metro North system. LAX Automated People Mover. At Los Angeles International Airport, construction crews are finalizing the Automated People Mover, a sleek elevated train system gliding 2.25 miles across the airport. Elevated guideways are complete, and finishing works dominate. At the West ITF station, cladding crews attach glass panels to sleek, modern facades, while escalators and elevators are being fitted inside. On the guideway, system technicians are stringing power rails, testing switches, and running automated vehicles at increasing speeds. Below, crews finish paving access roads and drop-off lanes feeding the new train. Inside the vehicles, interiors are being fitted with handrails, seats, and digital signage. Construction cranes still hover over some sections, lifting HVAC units and electrical cabinets onto station roofs. Gordie Howe International Bridge. Over the Detroit River, the Gordie Howe International Bridge is nearing completion. Two 722-foot pylons now tower over the water, bristling with cables like harp strings. Crews climb the towers daily, tensioning stay cables with hydraulic jacks and anchoring them deep into the concrete deck. Deck segments are precast onshore, then lifted by floating cranes and secured mid-river, each piece bolted and welded into the growing spine. On both shores, border plazas are buzzing with finishing work. Named after a hockey legend beloved in both nations, the Gordie Howe Bridge is America and Canada building together. An achievement in international cooperation and engineering might. Houston's I-45 expansion. Cranes and crews are reshaping Houston's most important artery. Drilled shaft foundations are being poured day and night, each one capped with reinforced columns that will soon hold miles of elevated roadway. Segmented precast beams are trucked in, lifted by giant gantries, and set into place to form new bridge decks. Traffic is shifted onto temporary alignments as old viaducts are demolished with hydraulic hammers and crushers. The construction sequencing is a masterpiece of urban engineering. Crews must keep one of America's busiest freeways open, while simultaneously rebuilding it from the ground up. Rebar mats stretch across acres, concrete pour crews work in continuous cycles, and traffic barrels snake through miles of work zones. SunZia transmission and wind. In the deserts of New Mexico and Arizona, one of the largest renewable energy projects in U.S. history is underway. The SunZia project combines a massive wind farm, 3.5 gigawatts of turbines, with a 550-mile high-voltage direct current line carrying clean power west. Hundreds of towers already rise across the desert, each planted with precision to support the vast cables stretching across the horizon. Construction's also underway on converter stations that will move this electricity into the grid. When complete, SunZia will be the single most powerful renewable energy project ever built in America. TransWest Express. Stretching 730 miles, TransWest Express is unfolding across multiple states. Survey crews in reflective vests mark the alignment with GPS precision, followed by bulldozers grading access roads across valleys and mesas. At converter station sites, rebar cages are tied into massive foundations that will soon hold transformers and rectifiers the size of locomotives. In Wyoming, steel monopoles are trucked to staging yards, their latticework bolted together on-site before being lifted upright. In Utah, pads are cleared and leveled for terminal yards where power will flow westward. Every stage shows progress. Access roads carved into remote terrain, concrete curing for towers, and strings of steel rising across the horizon. Champlain Hudson Power Express. On the surface, little of this project is visible because most of it's underground. Cable-laying barges move across Lake Champlain, pulling armored HVDC cables behind them as jet plows bury the lines beneath the lakebed. Onshore, trenchers dig down into city streets, installing conduits that crews then pull cables through with winches and rollers. In Queens, manholes are excavated, lined with concrete, and connected to cable ducts for easy access. By 2026, clean hydropower will pour directly from Quebec into the heart of New York. Coastal Virginia offshore wind. Off the coast of Virginia Beach, America's largest offshore wind farm is being planted in the sea. Installation vessels position themselves with GPS precision, then drive steel monopiles into the seabed using hydraulic hammers. Once the monopiles are secured, transition pieces are bolted in place, ready to receive turbine towers. Tower sections arrive on barges, lifted vertically by cranes, and stacked one atop the other until they rise hundreds of feet above the ocean. Offshore substations, fabricated in giant shipyards, are floated out and set onto pre-built jackets, connecting the offshore turbines to export cables being pulled ashore. The project will feature 176 turbines rising from massive monopile foundations. When completed in 2026, this single wind farm will power nearly 1 million homes. JFK Airport Rebuild. In Queens, New York, one of the greatest airport reconstructions on Earth is underway. The new Terminal 1 and Terminal 6 are both rising simultaneously. Tower cranes swing over skeletons of steel, rising into terminal shapes, while crews bolt beams, pour slabs, and install curtain wall glazing. Inside, miles of ductwork, cable trays, and sprinkler systems are being installed, layer by layer, as interiors begin to take form. At Terminal 6, Facades are being enclosed with shimmering glass, while escalator shafts and baggage systems are assembled inside. At the new Terminal 1 site, massive steel trusses span future concourses, hoisted into place with crawler cranes. A multi-billion-dollar investment to give travelers what will be the most modern airport terminals in the United States. Samsung, Taylor, Texas. In Texas, Samsung's constructing a massive chip campus that will rival the scale of anything in the world. The site spreads across more than 1,000 acres, filled with cranes, steel, and concrete. Power substations, water treatment plants, and fab shells are already advancing. By 2026, this site will house some of the most advanced microelectronics facilities on Earth. Texas is positioning itself as a crown jewel of America's semiconductor revolution, and Samsung's investment is a resounding victory in global competition. Stadium Megaprojects. In Buffalo, steel is already topped out at the new Highmark Stadium. Preparing for the 2026 season, crews are installing precast seating bowls, placing massive canopy trusses, and fitting mechanical systems. Concrete mixers line up daily, pouring concourses and stairwells. In Nashville, Tennessee, the domed Nissan Stadium takes form, a $2 billion showcase of design, comfort, and technology for fans. Steel arches span the field, craned into place in segments and welded together. The roof is framed with trusses designed to hold a retractable membrane, while bowl seating is being cast in place. Both stadiums are on the cutting edge of sports construction, and both are rising quickly toward completion, future cathedrals of American sport.